are here. It's 10 o'clock in the morning in Berlin, Germany, and I welcome all of you to our session about free education and scholarships in Europe. My name is Gesa Heim, and I hold an MSc in Higher Education and Science Management. I specialize in the German and European higher education sector since over 15 years. I am a senior expert of the YUF team that is organizing the session today. And as I said, I'm based in Berlin, Germany, and very, very happy to talk to you today. Today's session will consist of 3 sections. One about study in Europe in general, with the focus on certain countries like Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. Then we'll have a special feature about financing your studies, and a general introduction and overview about our wonderful mobile app Assisted, with all the features and functions it has. After my talk, which will be approximately for 25 minutes, we'll have a long Q&A session, so make sure you prepare all of your questions. You can already now type them in the chat, and the tech team is going to answer them if they can. But if you want me to answer your questions, we'll collect them and I'll answer them in the Q&A session after. Okay, so now my first task today is to convince you that it's a great idea to study in Europe, especially in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, so the German-speaking countries in Europe. Unlike other European countries, these countries do not distinguish between local and international students when it comes to education and tuition fees. Countries like Germany, Switzerland, Austria, but also Italy offer scholarships to students based on their financial background as well as their educational acumen. There are hundreds of different types of scholarships available with most institutions. So let's move to beautiful Germany first. We have low or no tuition fees for domestic students as well as international students at most of the universities. That's at all public universities. We have hundreds of top-ranked universities, very affordable living costs, lots of study programs taught in English, which might be of importance for you, because you might not want to learn our beautiful language up to the level where you could actually study. You have great job opportunities for international students already during your studies, but also for graduates, and high chances of settling here after completing your education. We offer internationally recognized degrees and, of course, travels to all of Europe on a student visa. We're right in the middle of Europe and are bordering with so many countries. There's unlimited traveling potential once you settle down in Germany. And of course, you are cordially invited to become part of a diverse community, especially here in Berlin. But there are other countries. We move forward to our neighboring countries. Austria, for example, has highly specialized study programs in English, which are offered to international students. And the quality of life is very high in Austria. It's a beautiful country. There's a high level of social security, and universities promote student participation in sports and recreational activities. It is known to be one of the most livable countries in Europe, and it's quite an affordable study destination. Now, moving to Switzerland, Switzerland is known as one of the safest countries in the world and offers really excellent study programs and affordable costs to international students. In Switzerland, the study costs themselves are also low, but the living costs are a lot higher than in Austria or in Germany. It shares its borders with 5 other countries, and it is a traveler's paradise. Swiss scientists are famous and held in high demand all over the world. The country has a penchant for efficiency, which is well reflected in its transportation and all public access systems. And its geography is as diverse as the people in this country, where you have 4 official languages and a cultural melting pot. I could introduce many other countries, but I will stop at this point. And I know that once you are about to take this decision, oh yes, I want to go to study abroad and I can imagine to go to Europe, you face many challenges, right? How can I find the right program for me? And where and how do I submit my applications? And what are the documents required? Where do I get my attestations done? And what are the next steps to take before I can start to study abroad? And what kind of questions will I be asked in the visa interview? All of these questions and many, many more reach us. And we can assist you with them. Who we are? We are a professional recruitment and higher education consulting team with many years of experience in recruitment for the European and worldwide higher education sector. We have experience not just in recruitment, but also in visa processing, accommodation assistance, and scholarships. We are committed to providing you assistance from start to end in every aspect of your university admission. Application submission, coordination of the process with the university, visa support, accommodation, projects, and many, many more issues. And how do we do that? We develop for you what we call, and what we're very, very proud of, the perfect triangle. Predict, support, succeed. We predict the admission probability to the university of your choice with our unique artificial intelligence-based app Assisted, relying on data from previously admitted students and 500 plus universities all over the place. Support personal guidance by our expert team through the jungle of application to universities that offer scholarships and free education. And then succeed, enroll in one of Europe's most excellent academic environments and benefit from high-quality higher education with accredited world-class universities, top-quality living conditions, and extremely positive prospects for your future career and life. Now I'm going to explain a little more to you about this perfect triangle. So, what do we want to predict? We take information from past data in our vast database and compare your profile, your academic profile that you type in once you download the app, with the variables to find a match which helps us to predict your admission chances to the university of your choice with ease. YUF, your UniFinder, structures the available information for you in clear lists where you can easily get an overview, compare, mark and manage your favorite options, and directly ask us to assist you with your application. In a second step, we suggest options to you with a high individual chance of admission to a university that exactly matches your profile. No other platform or agency is able to offer this service to you. So I'll give you an example. For example, in Germany, you see, okay, oh yeah, it's all free of tuition costs. I'm going to go to Germany. And I heard that Berlin is cool. And I know two other cities, which are Munich and Hamburg. And I want to study, for example, a master's in mechanical engineering. So I'll opt for Technical University of Munich, Technical University of Berlin, and Technical University of Hamburg. So by coincidence, or not so much by coincidence, these are the universities that are most sought for by international students. So admission chances are lower because many, many international students apply there. While there are extremely many very, very good polytechnics and technical universities that are looking for international students and that do not have enough applicants. So we help you to find out, okay, I might not go to Munich, which is a very expensive place anywhere. I might go to a smaller town in Thuringen, for example, to the TU Ilmenau, and study there because the study conditions are great and it's very, very easy to get admission, sometimes even without IELTS tests. So this kind of information is something that you hardly find with anyone else, and we would like you to be supported in this process. So our artificial intelligence-powered system ensures that you find the probability of admission to your chosen universities with minimum effort. It's really very easy. You get access to our panel of assisted experts who provide end-to-end support for all of your application activities, and you don't miss out on important deadlines, information, or know-how relevant to your admission process. This is crucial because if you ever try to compare and check universities just from their websites, you will find different deadlines, different documents, very, very confusing information, and not a lot of support of the university administrations themselves. The tuition fee is for free, so that means also the support structures in the administration are in the recruitment phase not that strong. So this gap is the gap we would like to fill and we would like to support you with. Just in order to make you succeed and to get admission to one of your top choice universities, to get assistance on visa support activities like visa submission documents, interview questions, and so on. We assist you in getting all the information you need on accommodation facilities in your host country. And it doesn't stop there. We even help you to find quality project and internship opportunities with top institutions and companies in Europe. That's once you study in Europe, because we are connected to a very, very worthwhile European internship platform where you can get access to wonderful practical possibilities during your studies. If you like, you can become part of our network once you're admitted and consult fellow students about your key to success, and keep in touch with us and become part of our community. So I'm wrapping up this circle. If you download the Assisted mobile app, and you filter universities that do not charge tuition fees, you choose your country, you choose your courses, the study programs, and you make us predict your admission probability. Then you make your decision. You would like to apply with our support, or would you like to apply on your own? If you would like to apply on your own, you leave the app at this point of time. And yeah, good luck for all of the paperwork and so on that has to be done. Or you opt for applying via YUF, and we help you with your application. We accompany you until you get admission. And these are all services to opt in or to opt out. We offer you services to prepare your study visa, to find accommodation, to join our student network. All of that with the mobile app Assisted. Okay, so now comes the second part. Now in the process flow, we are here. Like we explained a little bit to you now how to find the right study program. And of course, it's great if tuition fees do not have to be paid, but still there's a considerable sum that you need for managing your daily expenses. There are scholarship options, and I'm going to talk about these scholarship options a little bit later, but it's difficult for bachelor students and it's difficult for everyone to get a scholarship. There are scholarships, but the competition is really high. Full scholarships for the living costs. So the regular case will be that you come to Germany to pay no tuition fees and a very small semester fee of something like 200 euros per semester. But then you need money for your daily living. So let's have a brief look into how German students typically manage the final aspects of their education. In most cases, parents and guardians typically pay for the student's education, which as per studies have shown to be almost half of the amount required. And the remaining amount is usually a combination of part-time work done by the students plus education finances by the state. A very small percentage, you see, approximately 3% are known to receive grants, and a good majority are from foundations and organizations sponsoring talented students. On average, German students have over 860 euro per month at their disposal. However, a quarter of all students have to make do with less than 640 euro per month. But the higher sum is actually what you should calculate for, because especially as international students, there are always costs, especially at the beginning of the studies, that German students might not have. So make sure you don't calculate too tightly, because that might simply cost more at the end because it might make you lose study time or something like that. Some ways to finance your studies in Germany: parental income, personal savings, working part-time, important, student loans, but also, as I said, scholarship, at least partial scholarships. If your parents are financing your international studies, you can use this as a proof of financial resources to get your student visa, for which you would be required to submit a bank statement proving that the money belongs to your parents and will cover your study and living costs in the country. Additionally, if they are able to cover your entire program completely, then you can fully commit to your classes and be exempted from looking for additional income sources like part-time jobs or grants. And of course, I mean, if you don't have to pay tuition fees like you would have to do in the UK, in Canada, Australia, or the US, it's a much less heavy burden for your parents to get this money together. So, or for your relatives, let's say. So I think these countries in Europe are a very good study option for people with a good average income from international countries from all over the world. Personal savings are a common practice for most families and can also be used as a proof of financial resource. And they may not always cover the total cost of studying abroad, but if planned wisely, with a little bit of effort, you can arrange for the minimal amount required to provide proof of financial resources. Since this amount cannot be earned overnight, of course, it's highly recommended you to start saving earlier. For example, many students opt for studying in their home country, the first degree, the undergraduate, and then go to Europe for the master's programs. This has many advantages because also in the master's level, there is a lot more choice for English taught programs. So it's often seen that students who dream to study abroad save up money for years in advance just to make sure that they can one day make that journey without any hassle. And regardless where you study, it's of course always a good idea to save some money for your studies. This is what students have to do. But in Germany, also in other European countries, Austria and Switzerland, for example, it's very, very common to work part-time to cover the daily living expenses. You'd be surprised to know that almost 60% of international students work part-time when they study abroad. The numbers vary from country to country, but the underlying point is that international students often opt for working part-time to cover their living expenses, and they find jobs easily. If we take Germany as an example, under current legal regulations, international students are allowed to work up to 120 days of the year. If you aim to work longer than that, which is not necessarily recommended if you have a full-term study program, you need a specific permission. Two organizations that issue these permissions are the local employment agency, Agentur für Arbeit, and the Foreigners Registration Office, Ausländerbehörde. Even though the part-time earnings may not cover all of your costs, they tend to reduce the overall burden of funding for your higher education abroad to a good degree. So, and also during the very long semester holidays, it's always allowed to work more than part-time. There are special regulations, but there are also very good consultations and advice at the university's career services and so on. And just to give you an impression, student assistants here at universities, for example, or if you work part-time, there's a minimum wage of €9.30 or €9.50 per hour, I believe. And students normally earn something like 450 or 500 euros minimum. So this can make up to half of the cost. And that's if you work 10 hours per week. That's not if you work half-time, that if you work 25%. So it's very feasible and it's a good experience. And you get, if you got the right job, for example, if you're into IT or things like that, you can easily earn more money, and it's very, very easy to find jobs, for example, in the IT support of the university and so on. Now, a little bit of information about student loans. Many government-funded and non-government-funded loan resources offer loans which are often with zero or very low interest rates to students looking for financial support for their higher education. Even universities have established their very own student loan schemes to promote and support foreign students to study abroad. Some of the things you should keep in mind when planning for a student loan include the student loan schemes are often limited and may also not cover all of your living costs. If it's a public scheme, it might not charge interest. However, there may be limitations on the time duration of the payback. So make sure to get the details upfront on those terms. And non-government resources will have low interest rates, but may have limitations on the amount you can borrow. In short, student loan schemes can be a complementary fund, and you may need to find other sources to cover the remaining cost of your study abroad. So make sure to do a thorough check on the terms and conditions before you get started. It is not so common that students take anything but the official government loans here in Germany. Now to scholarships. Depending on the criteria, applicable European universities are known to offer scholarships that include not just the tuition fees, but sometimes even accommodation and other expenses. Some of the most commonly seen scholarships include starter scholarships, academic scholarships, public funding, governmental scholarships, scholarships for the living expenses, social grants, fee waivers, Erasmus scholarships, and many more. For Germany, it's hard to rely only on scholarships, as I mentioned already, but they will certainly add a great amount of money in your budget to cover your living expenses while studying in Germany if you succeed to get one. And since there's a wide variety of them, it's highly suggested you seek to get one. So there are scholarships that you can get already before you are admitted or while you're admitted from the very beginning, which would be DID scholarships. And there are scholarships where you would have to have the amount to study already before you come to Germany, but you can ease your financial burden because you can get them during your studies in Germany. For example, a Deutschlandstipendium or Erasmus+. And there are many talent awarding institutions. They are political foundations where you can apply with, like Friedrich Ebert Foundation, Heinrich Böll Foundation, or Hans Böckler Foundation, which is especially focusing on students from the first generation. I mean, who are the first generation of academics in Germany. The German Academic Exchange Service would be the top-notch, would be the top of the pops for you. It is a large organization whose mission is to promote the internationalization of German universities by creating countless funding and counseling opportunities for inbound and outbound talented students in Germany. Since they came into existence, millions of foreign students have benefited from the DID services. In 2016, more than 31,000 German and foreign scholars funded their education with the help of DID grants. Today, they have a rich list of available scholarships for international students. But every other country has their own scholarship schemes. They can be private, they can be public, and they can be especially directed to international students. So, for example, France, as a very popular destination for international students, offers scholarships like the Eiffel Excellence Scholarships, and universities in France offer their own scholarship schemes like the École Normale Supérieure International Selection, Ampère Scholarships of Excellence at the ENS de Lyon, and many more scholarships. What I just want to highlight is that no matter for which country you opt, there will be scholarship options. I'll explain to you now, and we are moving forward to the third part of the session. Just a second. How to bring all of this information together, how to get started, and how to manage the study program of your choice in Europe with, in the ideal case, scholarship. So you remember what I said about YUF? It's about free education, not including scholarships for living expenses. And now the assisted mobile app is more broad. It's the possibility to access all study programs taught in English in Europe, focusing on the master's level. And you find offers with tuition fees and without tuition fees. Scholarship information can be gotten if you contact our expert panel, get in touch with them and say, look, I filtered these and these and these possibilities for me, and now I'm looking for scholarships. How can I do this? This piece of information is so complex that it's almost impossible to have this all settled in an AI intelligence-based version. We are working on it, but until now, this is an end-to-end, person-to-person support that we offer to you, the scholarship consultation. So with the assisted mobile app, you have a very, very comprehensive feature to do all of this searching, either tuition fee free countries or all of the options that you have in Europe, and then getting all the support you would like to get from us for the search of scholarship, but also, as I said, visa, accommodation, and so on. So this is just much more than just another student app. And we are aiming for very, very, very high numbers of users already in the first year. We connect there again, you find another perfect triangle students who look for studying overseas, and international educational experts that get access to the student community and can promote their services, and educators, so universities that register on the platform and that promote their newest offers. Of course, we do not have only universities that actively promote, but all the universities are comprehensively listed. The process flow is very easy. You download the mobile app. Still working on the iOS version, I believe. It should be ready within the next weeks, but if you have an Android smartphone, it should be no problem to download it, which I highly recommend. You create your profile, highly attractive, but also truthful, please, profile with all your information that will supplement your search. And as I mentioned before, enable us to find the best matching study program for you. Then you search programs, and you can join virtual events, virtual exhibitions, and so on. Discuss your questions in virtual forums, and also share your experience, of course, with your friend and kin. The search engine has very, very big advantages because you find national search engines, of course, for Germany, for Austria, for France, and so on, but you do not find on the web, other than with us, a comprehensive searching machine where you can actually compare study options over the countries. Like I can compare what is the tuition fee for this master's study program in France, in Italy, in Germany, and in Austria, and what are my options. So you have to make some decisions, like, of course, the study program. Can I pay tuition fees or can't I pay tuition fees? To which country would I like to go, and so on. And you will find the most up-to-date university information in a very, very clear structure, which is not always given on other websites or at the websites of the universities themselves. You can explore our services. I mentioned this already. And you can, of course, also opt to find a personal educational agent near you if you like to have a personal face-to-face contact and not only online. Well, we believe it's quite a trend that online services are increased, and it's now essential to have virtual options for communication in higher education. And with the assisted expert feature, you get the opportunity to connect with an international education expert with years of experience and knowledge in the European higher education sector, who can guide you in each and every aspect of your European university admission process. This is something very valuable, especially when it comes to the tiny details of administration. Just a few numbers. It's just a very rough graph, but it shows you that the regions where students go to study abroad and where the most top ranked universities are located, if you take these two factors, Europe is the first destination where students go. And with more and more universities in Europe being present in the, or represented in the assisted mobile app, the university pool is growing wider in terms of locations and programs, and it's giving you almost unlimited selection potential for your study abroad in Europe, which is great. I like this fact, actually. Okay, I've been talking about scholarships already, but this is important, so I'll repeat it. Once you download, register, set up your profile, and you choose to apply via the assisted mobile app to the universities and submit your application, you can also contact the educational experts on our expert panel to ask for scholarship options. Really, depending on the university where you apply, depending on the country where you're from, and depending on the level of studies, the subject field, and many other factors, we can check to which scholarships you are eligible. I mean, scholarships for covering living expenses, and if it's only partially. So this needs an individual consulting, and it needs, this is also important to understand, another application. So application for admission to the university and application to a scholarship in Europe are always, almost always, two different procedures with two different deadlines, two sets of documents, and so on. A little bit difficult, but with our help, it can match. It's a lot easier, though, to get admission to a university than to get admission to a university and succeed in getting a scholarship. That I must definitely admit. But if someone can help you to succeed in that, it's our experts who have seen and helped students applying to a lot of scholarships. Accommodation, another triangle, as you see. We are in contact with a lot of accommodation providers who can post accommodation offers and share this housing information with the students. And the students can just look for the city they would like to live in, but they can also talk to our experts, which I always recommend because accommodation is something that is not so easy. It's not an easy question. And our experts could help you to clarify questions like, for example, okay, is this accommodation close to the campus where I am going to study? Is this a good price? Is this a reasonable price? Is this how students traditionally live and what they pay in the country? Because these factors might vary a lot. So let's say you got a neutral help and consultancy for that. And of course, if you have successfully managed to get an admission, you need a visa to come to study in Europe. And we can support you to get this visa. Also, if you got admission, for example, to an internship. The assisted mobile app offers services to all your visa-related requirements from A to Z. You can get all the information from visa procedures to documents, interviews, and more, and talk to our experts virtually and get step-by-step assistance. Like, which type of visa do I need? It's very often not clearly stated in the admission letter by the university. Where can I apply? What is really needed? What will they ask me in the visa interview? What are the documents needed? What is the insurance I need in order not to pay too much, but to be sufficiently covered? There are many, many questions around this complex. And unfortunately, it should be better, but unfortunately, the embassies as well as the university administrations normally do not have the capacities to answer all of these questions because they are overrun by applicants and they just work through their procedures. So if there's any question, any help, any information requirement you have, we can get that for you. One very important remark, is that we can help you as soon as you have an admission or an internship contract. If you do not have a basis for a visa, we cannot help you to get visa appointments without any legal basis, of course. I mean, it's quite clear, but it's just to say this very clearly here. Okay, so now I'm closing the circle. My God, I've been talking so long. I like this topic so much. Sorry, I forget myself. Your Unifinder, the feature that I introduced to you in the beginning, offers an artificial intelligence-powered system that ensures that you do not wonder about the possibilities of admission, but get a definite picture as to which specific universities you are eligible and how you can proceed with the admission process. We predict, by analyzing the data of 500 plus higher education institutions, to predict to which universities you are likely to be admitted with your personal qualification record. YUF supports you throughout the application process and makes sure that your application reaches the university of your choice in the right quality and in the right time. With YUF, enroll in one of Europe's excellent academic environments and benefit from high quality higher education, living conditions, and very, very positive prospects on your future career and life. So I'll stop talking now and give you space for your question. Just find us on our website or even download the app if you have your Android ready. Why not? It's completely for free. Yes, so contact us, keep in touch with us, ask your questions. Sometimes it's a bit difficult if this whole wide world of international education opens up to you to find exactly the questions you need answered. But I'm here for a while and very willing to help you and answer whatever questions you have. Thank you. Ha, I made you silent with all of my information, right? Yeah, I mean, this study abroad thing has to be prepared quite well because it's a very, very important and decisive decision. So even if you're not clear about your questions now, you can ask our experts at the expert panel anytime. Scholarships for a spring intake. Well, the spring intake is always a bit more difficult than the fall autumn intake. Before we're talking about scholarships, we would have to talk about admissions. So in many study programs, there's no admission for spring. If you find a study program with admission for spring and you find a scholarship, then you can start the scholarship anytime. The deadline, I am not completely sure. Maybe the tech team can check about the deadline because this is a rather technical question for the January intake of the DSU scholarship in Italy. I was so in my German, Swiss, Austrian world today that, sorry, I wouldn't, but I think so. Whenever a program starts and you have a scholarship, then the scholarship would start together with the program. Okay, Bashirat. Ibrahim. Age is 45, 54. Okay, we're jumping with the questions now. Yeah, this is the good news, Bashir, you can study for free. It depends a bit, of course, on your qualifications, whether you fulfill the requirements or not. But yes, it's incredible but true. In Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and other countries, there are study programs for international students that do not charge tuition. It is 54, and I'm a mechanical engineer, and I'm a software development as well. Can I admit to study master degree in automatic control and robotics? Yes, if you refer to your age, there is normally no age limit to master programs at European universities. This would be age discrimination, so it wouldn't be allowed. Yeah, you just have to make sure that you type in your academic records very carefully into our system, because we'd have to check the validity of your bachelor degree, because your bachelor degree will be very, very long ago and might be a little bit difficult to get this acknowledged. But generally, there is no age limit. And for, of course, if okay, and I explain about Norwegian schools free education. Okay, moving to Norway. I believe that, not I believe, I'm not exactly an expert on the Scandinavian higher education, but up to my knowledge, tech team, please correct me if I'm wrong, master programs are mostly or almost anonymously taught in English in Norway, Denmark, Sweden, and Finland. And up to my knowledge, Finland is the only country that has introduced tuition fees for international students. For the other Scandinavian countries, it should be possible to apply to master programs taught in English and not pay high tuition fees. Our artificial intelligence-based search list would know that much better than I do, actually. So I recommend you to download our app and scroll for it. It should be included then. How's the pandemic condition in Germany? Well, German politicians always worry, but at this point of time, it's good. This incidental value is 16 over the country. We all wear masks in shops and in restaurants and so on, so we are quite careful. 50% of the population has a double vaccination. And really anyone over the age of 16, anyone can now have the best vaccination ever. There's enough vaccination available. And the universities are preparing to open for the fall semester to go back into presence teaching. Yeah, so we are quite optimistic that this works out. We need more people to get vaccinated, and we need a little more, we need permissions from the government to open the universities, because we can open them just if we are not forced to have 1.5 meters distance from student to student, because then we are never going to be able to use the rooms that we have, the auditoriums and so on. Yeah, but in general, we are quite optimistic. How much do I have to pay for travel insurance in Europe, and how many months needed? Okay. Travel insurance is actually not needed. You have to pay for health insurance. This is the crucial thing. Once you enroll in a German or European university, you have to have a health insurance. And this health insurance costs around, if you are a student under 30 and like to have full coverage, and you need full coverage in order to be enrolled, it costs a little bit less than 100 euros per month. And there are many providers of health insurance, including state providers. So we can also consult you with that, but it's a very transparent system. You can buy a health insurance in order to get your visa just for 1 or 2 months. And then once in the European country, you buy the insurance that is best rated in the country. This is what I'd always recommend. I wouldn't buy an insurance from your home country for the whole first year or so on. Yeah, the system is, or the idea is, you just buy a health insurance in your home country for Europe for the visa application for the first month, and then you change once you're settled there. We have scholarships in Australia for master's programs. Oh, sorry, Pascal, we're covering Europe. For Australia, it's not. Australia is definitely not covered in the assisted mobile app. If there is any other possibility to, via our services, get information on study in Australia, please tech team type in a link for Pascal, or simply contact us via email. What I know is that Australia is still closed. Lets nobody in. Has a big problem because they very much rely on international students. But I also know that the tuition fees that international students pay to Australian universities are an important resource of income of the universities. So I doubt whether there are big scholarship schemes. I wouldn't think so, honestly. But it's just an an informed expert guess. My knowledge on Australia is there, but limited. What are the basic documents needed to apply for a scholarship? Once you have registered all of your academic records in the assisted mobile app, I think you should have the normal set of documents ready. This is a high school diploma. If you have a bachelor degree, it's the bachelor degree diploma plus the transcript with the list of courses that you did, so a diploma supplement, something like that. Sometimes it's a CV. It's for sure a birth certificate and like an ID, personal ID document. It might be a language certificate according to the admission requirements. It might be a letter of motivation. It might be a CV. But let's say this is one of our services because these documents really vary. We'd make sure that all of your documents are there ready and in time. So basically, the only things that have to be there and cannot be produced are the certificates, the graduation certificates, the birth certificate, and the ID. Okay. We're so looking forward to receiving all of these documents and ordering them and putting them in the right quality and helping you with it. This is really our passion. It's something we really, really like to do because we see the success, you know. Or we take all of your information and with this artificial intelligence system really find out where you could go, where the perfect match is, and then we help you to get there. It's such a nice feeling to do that. Can I pay 1 month medical insurance in my country for my visa application if I want to study 1 year program? 1 month might not be enough. I think traditionally it's the first, the insurance has to cover the first 3 months, but I'd recommend you to use our visa service to find that out, because It really depends on where you're coming from and where you are going to. Because, for example, if you're coming from Nigeria going to Switzerland, it might be completely different than if you're going from Saudi Arabia to France. You see what I mean? So I have difficulties to give a general answer there because it wouldn't be really worth. Yeah, but you can also write again, email this question to our team. We need just more detailed information, more data in order to answer it right. But in general, it's as I say, you don't buy the insurance at home for the whole first year of study. It's just for the first few months. But for how many months exactly, this I don't know. Normally, actually, it's also comes into my mind possible to from Ghana to Italy. Okay, I wasn't bad. Okay, but we'll have to check that. I wouldn't know the health insurance visa requirements for students to enter Italy from Ghana. Of course, not by heart, but we can find that out, Augustine. There's no problem. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Then again, thank you very, very much for joining. Thank you for all of your questions. Good luck on your way to Europe. This is really something I would so much enjoy if many of you could, find a way, find finances, find the right study program, and then succeed to come and study here in Europe. And I hope you get a wonderful experience. We are willing and here to help you on your way. Now I think this is goodbye for today. We have one more small video clip for you. And other than that, join us on Facebook, download the assisted mobile app, and get started. All the best for you. Thank you very much, and goodbye.